Even Keel Fish Shack.
Hold the Mayo. It's time for Mike Mayo's Lunchbox. Find out what's being served with Mike, Defo and Lubie, the only show that covers food, sports, and the proper maintenance of your car. And now, a man who had the distinction of having an entire health clinic named in his honor, Mike Mayo.
I want the flim-flam sauce with the awesome fave, with shafafa on the side.
Happy Wednesday and a soggy Wednesday. I hope everybody's here. I hope I'm here because all of a sudden my
you look good.
Went out. I'm good. I'm here.
We see you. We hear you.
For some reason, we are here on a Wednesday post-election pre-Nicole edition of the Lunchbox. We're going to talk a lot about food today. I guess we're going to talk about some other things too, because not to go all Tex on Antoine or Connie. No, Lonnie Quinn. That's the guy on CBS sometimes, or
Lonnie used to be down here.
Or yeah, that's right.
He was a local
on
guy.
NBC. No, and very much in favor in the ex-Mrs. Mayo's household. She loves Lonnie Quinn. Very easy.
All women like this guy. The Mustang loves him too.
Yeah, so
and you can tell Nora O'Donnell has a little thing for Lonnie Quinn, even though she might be happily married. But she's very, very straightforward whenever any other reporter is being introduced, and or you're saying, "Okay, thank you for the report." When Quinn's on, there's a gleam in her eye. Watch for this, Mike Mayo. Watch for this.
Yeah, you could see that little bit of he's
Our friend Scott says that he played at his wedding.
Really?
Yeah.
Lonnie Quinn did?
Lonnie Quinn.
He's a musician? I'm
no, not Lonnie.
He's a musician.
Gentleman on our chat line here.
Lonnie
Don't be
Quinn
confused.
I'm completely confused today. I don't know what it is. I have this huge headache, and I don't know whether it's from the barometric pressure drop and the whole storm, or we had a little poker celebration last night, and I was drinking a little too much of that.
Where was that?
Little too much of this El Dorado rum. So Poker Sean, my buddy, and didn't give the full story, but congrats to him because he's come out at some of the Lunchbox remotes. He's a good supporter of the show.
Good dude.
And a heck of a poker player because he bought in for one time for $150 at the Hard Rock last week. They have this guaranteed $100,000 tournament. He ended up going wire to wire. He was the leader after the first flight. He got 376,000 chips on the first afternoon. So he was bagged up and ready to go for the final day on Sunday. And he just apparently just played like a monster. He ends up negotiating a chop 7 ways, but he got the lion's share, almost $29,000.
Beautiful.
And what do you do? Like, if you win 29,000, like, what is the level of your? We have a tradition where when anybody has a big score, they take a group of friends and out to for a meal. So let's say you scored for 29 sticks there.
29 dimes. You're talking
29 dimes. I'm all confused.
Yeah.
How many people are you inviting, and where are you going?
Well, I mean, how many people traditionally go? How many people are?
Isn't it just 3 or 4 of you?
Usually there's about 5 of us in this poker gang that gets together. So.
Well, I know I sense this, and I respect this about you, because I sense you're not a fan of the giant foo-foo rip-off restaurant where you go to a place just because it costs a lot of money.
No.
So I would go to some place like Cafe Seville and figure if I was bringing 6 people, whatever, I'd figure, somewhere around $75, $80 a head. And so I know I'm getting out of it there for like $500, and we're going to have a wild celebration.
Yep.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, no, well, in this case, Sean, very generous. He invited a bunch of people from the poker world, that some people, old friends that he hadn't seen in a while. It was basically a group of about, I think, 11 of us that got together.
Oh, wow.
I was pitching for.
Well, I know one place you didn't go because you would have had to go 6 and then 4 and then 1 by car. That would have been Houston's. No, you couldn't have got the 6 in there. You would have had to go 4, 4. You would have been okay. 3 different tables, but 11.
4, 4, and 3, or 4, 4, and 3 at the bar.
It'd be Moses Malone, faux, if you had 12.
If it was 12, yeah. Why do you got to get me started? I thought we were going to have a
nice
show.
You're on a positive note. Where was this place? The food looked great.
Mentioned Houston's. I heard you bringing up on the morning show. Let's get back into that later. No, this was called Tropics Sports Lounge. It's a place that I mentioned that we were trying to do a Lunchbox Nikki Mohan Visit Lauderdale, and it never worked out with the owners because they're not usually open for lunch. It's on Pines Boulevard, just west of the Turnpike, kind of around where North Perry Airport is, and thankfully it hasn't been hit by a plane yet.
I would make sure there was no flight pattern. I guess with the hurricane, maybe the planes were, hunkered down, as they say. That didn't do them any good. They still all flipped over at North Perry Airport. That place is jinxed. That place is jinxed. I'm telling you.
This place, Tropics Sports Lounge, not to be confused with Tropics, that there's another Tropics bar and grill in Wilton Manors. This is completely different. Pines Boulevard. It's been there over 25 years, and it's a family-run place. It's 3 brothers from Guyana, and my buddy Sean, his family is originally from Guyana, a South American nation that is a very interesting because not to go all geography and London School of Economics and Political Science on you, but there's 3 Guyanas. There was the British one, which is just known as Guyana. There's French Guiana, which is pronounced differently. And then there's Dutch Guyana, which is now called Suriname. This is all way too much information, but Guyana had it was a colonial country, and it had a lot of Chinese workers there. And for that reason, the Guyanese cuisine is a mix of kind of Caribbean, kind of some of these like jerk wings and jerk spiced different meats, and then also a lot of like Chinese food, including like lo mein. They had like shrimp lo mein. We had a fantastic feast. There were 12 of us. The El Dorado rum, which is Guyana's pride and joy, it's won major international rum competitions. It was flowing. And it's very smooth stuff, Defo. I gotta warn you. So
Nice.
we had lamb chops.
Now, how do you drink them?
wings.
Straight up on the rocks? What do you?
So it's basically served. You could have it's a sipping rum. It's that smooth. So I put it on a little bit of ice, and then I had like a side of a ginger ale chaser. Some people drink it with ginger ale or cola. But I think it's best. It's such a good rum. You could just, put it right on ice and just sip it, and it really goes down smooth. And I'm feeling it this morning.
Rum and Coke is one thing. I'm not a fan of rum and Pepsi. I'm not a Pepsi over Coke guy. But in the Bahamas, that's big because I don't know why they don't get Coca-Cola products down there. So it's like rum and Pepsi all the time. Does that not diminish the enjoyment of the rum a little bit if it's Coke versus Pepsi?
I don't know because
and you're a purist, food critic mind.
I'm a classic rum and Coke guy back in the days when I would drink rum and Cokes. Now I've graduated to the point where a rum like this is like some of these high brand tequilas. You don't need to mess it up with any mixers.
It could be with RC cola and you're okay with it.
No, I don't want it with any cola. I just want it on the rocks and just sip it straight up. It was delicious. But the point is, this place is good. It's one of these kind of little hole in the wall joints.
You would think a sports bar, you're getting this kind of sophisticated stuff.
They do this best, like fried rice. They use this kind of special nubby fried rice that has this greatest texture. It's kind of like a risotto almost, but it's like they chop up a whole roasted chicken too. So it's like a chicken fried rice, but with like a whole bird on top of it. And then they put some scallions and cabbage. And I really wanted to do a show there one time because the food there, it's like one of these hidden gems where you go in and you can get this like chicken fried rice for $12.95, and it'll feed an army for days if you get one of their to-go orders. I took, who I took there one time? Our man Wade from Pizza Spot.
Nice.
When it was his birthday, I took him over there when Sean was having another one of his celebrations there, and we had a good old time. So Wade became a big fan of the place. He took home one of these chicken fried rice. He said it lasted him for a week when his wife was away up in Connecticut. So anyway, Tropics.
Was that anything like, I don't know, did you ever experience this? I think we might have talked about it once, but my favorite thing ever here in the restaurant business, and a friend of mine, may he rest in peace, a gentleman I was good friends with named Victor Bowser, was from Hialeah, turned me on to it. And that was the Chinese restaurant that is on the street, East 4th Street, as you head to Hialeah Park. And it had a giant Kentucky Fried Chicken bucket on the roof. And you could get the bucket of fried rice there.
Nice.
I don't know. Did you ever engage in that? And it was like $6 at one time for a bucket of fried rice, and the place was always jammed. And it was weird too because it was like Chinese Spanish cuisine.
Well, no, and I
think this place is still there, but they don't have the bucket on the roof anymore, so it might be under new ownership.
No, and it's not that weird of a dynamic down here. It's there's a lot of these Chinese slash Peruvian
I was gonna
places.
say
Bucket,
Peruvian
where you can get a
does
bucket of fried
fried rice.
rice.
Well,
No,
I'm not.
you
I don't
Like
actually
know
a
about the
giant
bucket.
bucket.
no, it's
I
different
don't know about the giant buckets of fried chicken with fried rice.
Fried
All I
rice.
know is that there's these combo places. Like this place is kind of Guyanese and Caribbean. They have the jerk wings and some really good wings and things, but they also had Chinese food. And then there's the chaufa, it's called, is the
Yep,
Peruvian
yep,
Chinese
yep,
places.
yep.
There's a place up in Davie on Davie Road that I think it's called Wangs or Wings or yeah, something like that. But to answer your question, there's a lot of these places, but I don't know where you get a big bucket of fried chicken with fried rice.
Fried
No, not
rice.
fried chicken. I'm just talking a bucket of fried rice.
Well, a lot of the just walk in.
I mean, a giant bucket,
Yeah,
Michael.
no, I've seen
You've
these
never seen
before.
this
Andy,
unless you.
Andy,
I'm sure you
Andy,
blew by this Chinese restaurant many, many times. You must have been
Okay.
so absorbed in
that's
whatever
our
wins
favorite
or
thing about
losses you had.
Hialeah. They not
No,
only cook the fried rice, they also tint your windows, as Andy said.
Yes, yes.
that's the highly
You could get a
special.
car wash there. Yeah, for
That's
sure.
that's the combo play, the combo dinner.
What
there.
was it in? Was it in Dania? Where they had the combined? This was when I first moved here. This is about 40 years ago, and I would imagine this place been out of business for a while. But they had the combined car wash drive-through seafood place, where
Well,
it was a car wash and it was also like a seafood, market. It was unbelievable.
didn't Tim Hardaway open like a car wash / donut shop, or am I
Oh,
hallucinating that?
I
Maybe.
think that was short-lived, also, like Higgy's restaurant,
Yeah,
Mark Higgs.
I love
Yeah, the donuts get a little soggy. No, and it's funny that you mentioned this kind of Chinese chicken combo, because I drove by a place the other day when I was coming going over to one of our Power Mutual facilities from my friend's house. I think it's on Sample Road. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's on Commercial near Prospect Road in Fort Lauderdale. It's called Zippo Fried Chicken Chinese. This place intrigued me when I drove by. I almost had to drive right in there and see if they had buckets of chicken or buckets of fried rice. But if anybody out there has ever heard of Zippo Fried Chicken Chinese on Commercial Boulevard, let me know. I'm gonna have to go check it out. I'll pose a question to the Let's Eat South Florida group too, because it's one of those things. Looks like it's been around forever. Must be doing something right. And again, the fried chicken Chinese combo apparently not just limited to Hialeah.
Well, no, this had nothing to do with fried chicken. It was strictly
It's just
fried rice.
in a
Wait,
bucket.
why did I hear fried chicken?
Because
it's
you
such
wanted
a
to hear
different
fried chicken.
kind of bucket.
Yeah.
But there's no chicken.
Okay, you said bucket, and I think KFC.
Well, it
So-
was a KFC style bucket.
That's
a
what you said.
giant family-sized bucket
So
of fried rice only. Only
I
fried rice.
see your bucket of fried rice and I raise it to Zippo's, which is fried chicken and fried rice, because it's a fried chicken / Chinese restaurant. So
That's
Okay, but can you get just a bucket of fried rice there?
I have no
that's
idea.
the
But
question.
at a lot of these corner, strip mall Chinese takeout joints, I don't know if like what's it called, May's Kitchen, your place,
May's
or-
Kitchen, yeah.
Might be
or-
They
I
don't
know-
feature the bucket of fried rice.
I know that my local for a long time, Hunan Wok too, does. Like they
Yeah?
used, they
Get
used
outta
to
here.
have a big
Use a
bucket of
bucket.
fried rice. Yeah, a bucket. They have
Mustang and I
different sizes.
actually they forgot to give us utensils, and we were
Yeah,
so hungry after
hands.
gambling and going to an affair there that we got the bucket of fried rice as a joke, as a novelty. It was up to like $19 at the time. It was kind of like the climbing, escalating prices. I was trying to figure this out of the Earl Scheib car wash. Which did that start at 1995? Well, you're too young to remember that. I kind of remember 1995 being their first advertised price. Imagine that you could go and give a guy a $20 bill at one time and have your car painted while you wait. But we got it for about $19, and I had no utensils, and we ate it in the car on the
How do
way
you
back.
eat rice with no
With their
utensils?
We were
hands?
eating it with our hands while we were driving.
Oh,
In
It,
India,
that's-
like in India.
yeah,
That's something I would do at
it
a
was like we were in
table with
Morocco.
other people.
It was amazing.
Exactly.
I always think it'd be more fun if you like put your hands behind, like an apple bobbing contest,
your
and just
mouth.
went down into
Put
the
your
bucket.
face in it. Believe me, if I had been driving by myself, I might have considered doing that.
And speaking of like putting your face into it, all-time bad restaurant names. The place is now out of business. It used to be a little corner shop in Hollywood. The name of it was called Face Food, and I
Face
just
Food.
couldn't get. Yeah, I
What
couldn't
is
get
that?
it out of my. I don't know, but it made me think of like people have to go in there and just eat everything with their face. And like,
What
no
the hell does that mean?
utensils.
That'd be a novelty.
Yeah, no,
I, you know,
it's
that one I told you many times about this Moroccan joint I worked in. It was a sensational success in Los Angeles when I started working there. It had just opened, and then it really took off. Like after Elmer Dills wrote a review about the place, but they served the meals in Moroccan style with no silverware. So you had the ultimate, I mean, of the highest end of stars and people that were important in Los Angeles in the entertainment industry, and they're literally all eating smearing chicken on their face with their fingers. It was Mayo-esque, but but nobody actually stuck their face in the plate.
I find it very sensual when you have to eat like, like the caveman.
People loved
You
it,
have to
man. They
use
did.
your and there's a place, an Ethiopian joint near the stadium on that corner of 441 and 199th. It's called Awash Ethiopian Cuisine. And again, traditionally Ethiopian restaurants, they don't serve utensils because everything there is a lot of dips and
Yeah, yeah.
stews are served on this flat bread called injera bread. And so basically everything is served. It's kind of like an open faced uncooked pizza. It's like this doughy stuff
Yeah.
that you tear up and you dip it in. And so you can eat with your hands and utensil free. So going along the lines of if you want to do something a little bit different, I recommend the place highly because it was good, very, very
Here's
delicious.
something that I haven't seen here, and I don't know. I haven't gone to any like Middle Eastern places, but they made a dish there. It was a second course of what was essentially like a 5-course meal that you got for like $12 at the time, and this is circa mid 70s. But the dish was called Bastia. All right, and it was a pie. It was made in a pastry shell. Had powdered sugar on the top. This was the second course after you got the Middle Eastern salad, which was a combination of like eggplant and carrots and things, and a kind of an oil and vinegar base. But it had chicken, eggs, and like one other ingredient, and it was put in a pastry shell and then topped off with powdered sugar, and it was absolutely scrumptious, man. And
Really?
Powdered
it was
sugar.
funny too. It was funny.
That's a
They
little
they,
jarring.
they used the leftover chicken, whatever they had, that they didn't serve the night before. They used that in the pastilla pies, but it was a smash hit, and I've never seen it. Have you ever heard of this dish? It's called Bastilla, and it was a Moroccan dish, and
Moroccan dish.
extremely popular as an appetizer, a prelude to the main course.
I gotta admit, I've never heard of it, and I don't know quite about the savory sweet, like powdered sugar on top
It
of
was
all this.
delicious, I have to say. You would think, who wants to eat this direct? What a bad combination! It was
No,
absolutely
it's
sensational.
I'm open to trying anything once, and it's
Haven't seen it though, Michael. Haven't seen it here
well,
in
there
South
is a
Florida.
Moroccan restaurant here in Broward County called Dar Tagine.
Okay,
It's on, I
I know that
believe,
Dar means house. That I remember from my experience
House
because
of
this place was
Tagine.
called Dar Maghreb.
Okay, yeah, this was Dar Tagine, and tagine
Okay,
obviously is the famous dish. It has the domed covering. It's kind of a stewed. You could do chicken or lamb, but Dar Tagine. I think it's around Broward, not Broward Boulevard. Might be Broward. I don't know, but look it up on the Google thing. It's but traditional Moroccan, but I don't know if they have that chicken
Bastille.
powdered sugar pie
If they
pastille.
do, order it. It's
Okay,
great. Yeah.
yeah, no, but they have a
This
lot of
is
good
a
tagine
thing.
places. Yeah.
Poultry pastilla was there's a few different. I went on to France, took it, and Israel took it, but the poultry one is the one I guess Devo took. Combines sweet and salty flavors, crisp layers of crepe-like dough, savory meat, slow cooked in broth and spices, and then shredded, and crunchy layers of toasted and ground. I guess you do almonds, cinnamon,
Almonds. That's
and
it. Yeah.
sugar on top of
Okay.
it. That's an interesting
And,
combo.
and I'm looking at the Dar Tagine menu now, and that's at 8261 Sunrise Boulevard. So it's right around the corner of Sunrise and University there in, I believe it's Plantation. But I'm looking through, I see tagines, I see shakshuka, see kebabs. They have Bastilla.
Oh
They have
yeah.
a
Oh wow.
they have
Let's go there.
chicken
It's actually
Bastillas.
very common.
That's what you want.
Listen it
That's
up.
what you
They
want, Michael.
have okay, so we might have to have a Visit
Another
Lauderdale
Moroccan.
Lunchbox show there with
Yeah.
Nikki Mohan,
Yeah.
and all
Couscous with
try.
vegetables, right, is always a
Yeah,
part of
no,
the
they
thing.
have lots of couscous.
They have
That's
the
Yeah.
bowl thing.
11.99 chicken couscous, but the chicken Bastilla, $6.99
That's it. Okay, nice.
gets you baked layers of thin pastry stuffed with chicken strips, roasted almonds, eggs, and herbs. Doesn't say anything about powdered sugar on top. But there you go.
I think you'll find that as part of the fanfare.
They do the almond, cinnamon, and sugar on top. I guess it's like
Okay,
a
yeah, beautiful. All right, well, we've got.
We taught Mayo a food lesson here on the show.
Defo.
It's fantastic.
This
No,
is
it was
the-
great. I mean, $12. It wasn't even $12. You got the salad, which was delicious. I mean, the way they did the eggplant and everything, fantastic. And people are like, I'm serving Sharon, Greg Allman, and they're stuffing his stuff in their face with their hands. It was very, very. You would have fit right in here. And then the pastilla was the second course. Then they would bring the main course, which was usually lemon chicken. And they would bring out, like, if it was a party of 4, you got one whole chicken.
Wow.
And then the people would be picking that apart, right? So you're looking at producers and, starlets and all kinds of stuff. And they're eating this stuff with their hands. And then couscous was the next course. And then after that, they popped it off with a dessert. 5 courses, $11 at the time. Place was jammed from the time Elmer Dills. It really reminded me of you, because if you say something about a place, boom, place takes off. If you don't have a favorable review, you might you see tumbleweed blowing by the door and a foreclosure sign in a couple of days. But if Elmer Dills liked the place, it took off in Los Angeles. He was a phenomenal influence.
Let me ask you this: so this the Moroccan place you worked at,
Dar Maghreb.
Dar Maghreb. Did they? What does Maghreb mean?
I think it's a city or something. I don't know.
Okay, it's House of Maghreb. I'm gonna look this up now on the Google machine. But did they serve alcohol there, or was?
Oh yeah. It was not cocktails though. It was all wine, and I guess I don't remember serving beer there. So it was all wine, and you had to know a little bit about the wines because the guy that owned the place was a guy named Pierre Dupart, who I mentioned before. And he had come, his background was he owned a very, very successful, at the time, restaurant in San Francisco called L'Orangerie. And
so he's a Frenchman, and he decided to branch out and offer something.
Well, he had opened another place. I guess, I don't know if it still exists in San Francisco. It was legendary, L'Orangerie. He then opened, just as an experiment, like a little side place connected with L'Orangerie called Marrakesh, which was a Moroccan restaurant. And that place was so successful, he moved to L.A. He was on the Sunset Strip. He had the building look like, a mosque. It had the golden dome on the top there. And I was, sort of doing a real odd job at the time. And I just remember thinking, whatever is going on in that place, I want to work there. Because I was looking at the cars that were pulling up and stuff. I didn't even know. It might have been like some kind of CIA stronghold or something where they were doing spy work. But the restaurant opened, and it's like you talk about a lot. They kind of had a soft opening. And then as soon as this review hit the L.A. Times, that was it. They were coming from all over to go to this restaurant, and it stayed that way for a long time. I believe it might still be there, Dar Maghreb, on the Sunset Strip. I haven't been to L.A.
I'm
for a
going to
while.
have to Google that too. But just to fill everybody in, Maghreb means it's actually the whole entire region of Northwest Africa. That's what the name refers to, that entire region, which includes Algeria, Libya, Mauritania, Morocco, and Tunisia. So House of Maghreb means House of Northwest African
House of
food,
that
and
part of
particularly
It was every bit of that. It really was. They brought you that flavor.
And this is the upset of the day, I think, even more than maybe Lauren Boebert going down, is Defo giving me a food lesson.
Well, and then we find that this dish exists. I've been looking for that for a long time. The
Really?
pastilla pie.
Came up easy.
Well, we're gonna have to arrange for a future lunchbox.
Yes.
Possibly in conjunction with Nikki Mohan and the Visit Lauderdale cruise.
Oh,
to go to
Mohan, I love the place, man.
Now, but why I asked about alcohol is because this Dar Shajin is run by pretty observant Muslims, and they are not only do they not offer any alcohol, they don't even allow you to bring your own. They don't want a drop of alcohol in the house, which, some people find it a little bit jarring. I actually found it refreshing because they have beautiful tea service there, so you just get the teas.
Oh yeah, that tea is great, like Turkish tea and African teas are great.
It also makes for a much more reasonable meal when you cut out
it's
the
no
alcohol from the
substitute though for
equation.
booze. No substitute.
We
And if
have
you're
to
going to
be
eat with your
cultured.
fingers with 5 other people picking apart a chicken, you
Might
definitely need a
avoid
couple of drinks.
We have to be culturally sensitive, and when you go again, like when you go to Houston's and they tell you that there's no Bloody Mary on a Wednesday, you either accept
You
it
can't let that go.
Yeah, you really accepted it.
or you never go back. Now, when it comes to Dar,
I feel the same way about Raymond Floyd, the golfer, as you do about Houston's and the Bloody Mary incident. I have not let it go in 40 years.
I've let it go. I just don't go back there.
Yeah,
And
like,
now
Well,
that
yeah.
talk about
I've never
massive-
talked to Raymond Floyd again either.
I tell you I had a big blow up with Raymond Floyd one year at the Masters.
Oh, yeah?
I don't want to get into it now.
I
This
want to
is the
get
food
into it.
show.
What was that all
No,
about? You can't
no,
tease the people like that, Michael. We have
I
time.
can't.
It's your show.
I got to get to this the condiment
Donuts for the
conundrum.
day.
But
Oh yeah.
I tell you what, let me do this. I'll tell very briefly the Raymond Floyd story.
All right.
Raymond Floyd obviously was a local. He lived here in Miami Beach
Very
on
distinguished. People
Indian
like him.
Creek.
Didn't he help design Doral? Wasn't that the thing?
He helped design the first go round. I think he was involved with maybe one of the redesigns, and then
He was involved with the redesign, and it was universally panned as one of the
Man, yeah,
worst
that was the whole
things.
thing. Yeah,
He
wasn't
had
it like
shaved the fringe around the green so that any putt that wasn't exactly dead center in the hole was going to roll into the water and be underneath that vehicle that they had on the island outside of 18. And he put like more sand there than they have in the Mojave. And a lot of people didn't like it. They had to redesign it after that. I didn't mention that to him, though. That's not why he blew me off.
Well, so my story, first of all, and people who don't realize that Raymond Floyd was the one who introduced Don Shula to his second wife after Dorothy passed, Marianne Stevens, who was the ex-wife of the chairman of Augusta National.
Shula loved him. Absolutely loved Raymond Floyd.
Oh, yeah. The two of them became neighbors because the Shula eventually moved from Miami Lakes down to Indian Creek with Marianne next to Raymond Floyd. But anyway, one year at the Masters, when I was covering golf, basically in the middle of shooting a pretty good opening round, there was a story that hit basically one of the golfers gave an interview accusing Raymond Floyd of cheating either a few years or a few weeks earlier at I think it was at Doral. Basically said that Raymond Floyd did something, moved the ball, replaced it, and then basically just didn't report it.
Which should be allowed, by the way. You should be allowed to move the ball in golf.
Well, anyway, and this basically just came out during the middle of his round at the Masters. There was another golfer who was competing who, when he got off the course, basically told a bunch of golf writers this story. And it was like, who draws the short straw and has to ask Raymond about, for a response after his round is the local writers. And I don't know, Edwin Pope was there
Pope
for the
punked
Herald.
out on it and put that on you, Mike Mayo?
Well, I don't know. Pope would have done it off to the side, and I was like the young punk who, all the golf writers wanted to know about this. So Raymond comes off the course. He thinks he shot like an opening round 70. He thinks there's this whole gaggle of golf writers around to talk about his glorious opening round. We're all there just because we want to ask a response for this cheating allegation. And so he's going through his round, and then I say, Raymond, I just got to ask you about, so and so said that a month ago you cheated your brains out of
this completely blind assertion that has been made about you. Yes,
and he shot me this Shula glaring look, with the chiseled jaw. He says, he gave some denial, but you could see like the steam, the redness in his face, and the steam like coming out of his ears that he had to even respond, and that I had the temerity to ask about it in a group setting. So like, and everybody goes back to the press center, and people are bashing out their little notebooks and putting a little note about this. And then I get there's a call on the internet comm system. Michael Mayo, please report to general manager's office. Please,
you got called into the principal's office.
I was summoned into,
Oh my
not
God.
Butler Cabin. It's the main clubhouse. There's a little office where the GM. And I was like,
was Hootie around at the time? Hootie Johnson?
No, it was, and this isn't the chairman.
Killed.
This is like somebody who's a full-time employee. The general manager of the club has an office there. But when I got there, he says, Raymond Floyd would like to speak with you.
Oh, no.
That had to be favorable.
Raymond,
maybe like that
there.
meeting with Wayne or the guy that was running the Panthers.
Kind of like that. It was it was let's just say I went in there and I got my butt chewed out for.
What'd you say in response?
I said, Raymond,
because you're the one who'll fire back. That's I love this
you don't
about
just
you.
take it there.
You'll tell like somebody tell you to go ask Bruce Smith. If all of his
he was
sacks
just
were
pummeling me with a figurative 5-iron, like Shula
nice.
would chew into me sometimes. How dare you ask that in front of? And I just said, Raymond, you got to understand, this thing had already been put out there by, I forget even who made the assertion, but I said this is out there and people were already writing about it. The only fair thing to do was to get a response, and this was the first chance we could get for a response, and he just whatever. He hated me like poison.
Yeah,
And
he
the way,
hated sports talk radio. That's why he wouldn't do
right.
the show,
Well, the
even though
way
there was
that
an obligation to do it.
the way that you've never forgiven and still resent him is the way that he always resented me. And he
Yeah.
heard, he had Shula in his ear about what a punk I was. And yeah,
You
whatever.
were you were on Shula's blacklist also.
What are you
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about? Sheila King him out of
That
my
was
chat?
guilt. That was guilt by association because Charlie Bricker, when I first started, I was the backup to Bricker, and he hated
Okay.
Bricker like poison. But then when I became the beat writer too, I would also, I brought that New York Post brand of sports journalism
To
where
the
I'd
game.
actually.
What do you
yeah.
think when people say that the game has passed you by, Coach? What do you say?
Yeah. So you were critical of the perfect
I-
season
I-
that they had a lot of
100%.
lucky wins. Yeah.
I wasn't.
100%.
No, and I didn't say what do you say about the game has passed you by. I wasn't that.
Just
But there were some things. That
I had
happened.
to ask him that once, believe it or not. I literally had to ask him what his thoughts were about this premise.
Yeah, they're full of.
I told him this was not a question I would ever ask him. I had drawn on a stringer assignment, and that's all they wanted to know was his reaction to the notion that, like Chuck Noll and others, that it was being implied about that the game had passed him by. And I had a good relationship with Shula. He liked me, as Lubie, saw, was evidenced.
we had him
He
in
was
a few
more than
times.
willing to do stuff
Yeah.
for us all the time.
He
And
was older.
and I said, Don, I this isn't my question. I have to ask it. This is the assignment here. We were working for ESPN. And he said, you can go ahead and ask that, DeForest, but, I can go ahead and rip this stuff off and walk away also, which he didn't do. He didn't do it. He went ahead and he sat there and he answered the question, in the usual vagaries, like, well, people can say whatever they want.
That's because, you and him had a good working relationship. Me,
Yeah.
no, I think the genesis of it was one time. Remember Farrell Edmonds? He was a tight end.
Good catch,
He
man.
had some sort of injury, and I think Edmonds himself was questioning and saying that the team was pushing him back too soon. And I wrote this basically saying he was feeling pressured and that they didn't have his best interests at heart. And like Shula just like ripped into me like I had, just killed his firstborn or something like that. That, how can you impugn my integrity like that? I would never deliberately get a player hurt, something like that. But it was like, because I wasn't the kind of reporter that would just genuflect and say, whatever you say, coach. I was, I brought that Northeastern.
That is not your style.
Boston.
That is not your style.
And I don't know. He never forgave me. The other thing he didn't like was that when he was closing in on obviously George Halas's all-time win mark, he was also closing in on the all-time being losingest coach, having the most losses in the NFL. That was Tom Landry. And I had the temerity one day.
You brought that up in the midst of a marvelous Hall of Fame career.
I said,
by the way, coach, you're a loser. What's your response?
No, I said, what do you think's going to come first? You're going to get the record for all-time wins or all-time
Oh,
losses?
gosh. Nice one.
Oh, my God, man.
You should have been in talk radio a long time ago, man. You were made for this stuff. What are you talking
Jesus.
I didn't, I've never been one to play the political game.
Before we get to this, I guess you should tell us about a good thing, which is Tropical Acres or something. Before you get to the schmutz that you have on that plate there, whatever that is. Now, and it's another like National Sandwich Day, or was that yesterday?
I have no idea. I've given up on the.
Sarni's even given up on it. You notice he doesn't remind us of it anymore.
Doesn't update us at all anymore.
That's good. We've hit all the big ones, and now we have like real things on the calendar, like Election Day and Veterans Day.
By the way, piece of cake, Mike Mayo. Honestly, if I had used a mail-in ballot and gone to my mailbox and just left it there for the mailman to pick up, it would not have been any easier than it was for me to vote yesterday. It would not have been any easier.
I'm glad that you didn't get hit
I'm
by a
so
truck.
glad. I almost did, actually. I was kind of paying no attention. It was raining out. And I literally walked like 30 yards to get to the polling place. And a car came streaming by that I was, sort of in a fog as I was thinking about who were these judges I want overthrown in the Supreme Court. and I thought of you because it missed me, but I thought, you know what? What if Mayo?
What if I was right?
Effing right.
Freaking
And I got hit by a car on the way to the polling place. But then I figured that I would be dead anyway. And aside from my wife and immediate family, it probably wouldn't matter to me if DeSantis won by a landslide.
Well, he did end up winning by a landslide. And the whole problem of overthrowing all the state Supreme Court justices
are all of them bad? I don't know. I just assumed that for some stupid reason.
But let me backtrack. the funny part is if everybody went ahead and just like threw them out,
Yeah.
then you know who gets to pick the replacements is
Oh,
basically
geez.
Ron
Yeah.
DeSantis.
Well,
So
right.
it doesn't
Oh, good.
accomplish
No wonder we
anything.
keep him in there.
Yeah,
I
it's
should have
a lot
voted yes on all of
These that are on the state Supreme Court have been picked over the years by a bunch of different people from, I think, Rick Scott and Jeb Bush. And I
Oh,
think
great.
a couple
Okay.
might
Yeah,
have
All the
even
more
been
reason.
Charlie
Get
Crist.
rid of them all.
It's the
So,
same.
but all these judicial nominating commissions and the people that actually select the judges, and then it has to be approved by the governor and the Senate. It's all controlled by whoever's the governor. They make all these appointments.
By the
So
way,
it-
I received a criticism of something you said here on the show.
yes,
As I was out and about last night doing my usual thing at the Tipperary pub there in Deerfield, and it was great seeing Joel De Silva, who is a terrific
great.
local player and a really good guy. Big fan of our work, too. And he said to say hello to the Gambling Gourmet because he used to listen to you on Fridays on the
nice.
other show. But the place that's down from New York that has a few locations here starts with a P.
Patricia's, yeah.
People say that place is really good. You kind of gave it an eh.
Right. People also flock to McDonald's every day and think
Okay,
that's true.
You got that one, Michael. I'll give you that.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
No, and you know what? That's completely unfair by me because
You've never
haven't
eaten there.
Eaten there.
Yeah.
once.
So how do you know?
I
How the
just,
hell do you know?
you're right. I don't know. It just
You
looks
know,
like the kind of
like
place in Brooklyn I used to go. There was a place called Calero's where it was like kind of, red sauce Italian where they just give you these big jumbo family style platters. And, the food wasn't anything special, but
All
it
right.
was a big portion and it would fill you up. And people who didn't know any better or worse would just be happy. And I think that's the kind of, and you know what?
Somebody ran into the parking lot as I was going in and said, you work with Mayo, don't you? And I said, yeah, the usual response I have now. And they said, well, we just came out of Patricia's and the food there is excellent.
Great. All right. You know what? So I'm going to retract my
Don't retract it. No,
condemnation.
I mean, if you believe that's okay.
I love how vehement they get when it comes to this.
They track me down
People
and
get so frustrated.
People
by this.
deliver a
I
message
love
to
it.
Mayo.
And meanwhile, Sarni chimes in. He says, even Sarni says it's a lame week for the food holidays. Although Segreto is excited about vanilla cupcakes.
Oh, yeah.
on
What was that,
Thursday.
man? What's up? with
Tomorrow's
that?
Vanilla Cupcake Day.
I guess.
There you go.
When was the last time you had a vanilla cupcake or even thought about one?
I
would say
probably
never.
at my
Yeah.
daughter's like
Birthday or
third
something.
birthday party.
Maybe at
when
your
we
bar
get
mitzvah if they had vanilla
cupcakes.
cupcakes.
Hey,
Sure.
we got to talk about our friends at Visit Lauderdale
Oh, good.
because it's that time of year where there's so much going on. We got the boat parade coming up, and then it's going to be all kinds of stuff with the holidays. And Greater Fort Lauderdale wants to welcome everyone under the sun to Greater Fort Lauderdale, and that means all you foodies out there. So culinary explorers, cocktail connoisseurs, craft beer aficionados, come one, come all, and get ready to savor every flavor under the sun here in Greater Fort Lauderdale. From dockside dining with the breathtaking views along the lovely waterfront, the Intracoastal, the Atlantic. There's lively cafes along Las Olas Boulevard and award-winning chefs serving up every cuisine imaginable. There's a world-class culinary scene awaiting for you. So come stay and play in Greater Fort Lauderdale and discover taste sensations at more than 4,000 restaurants. Can you believe 4,000, Defo? Oh, my God.
I'm laughing because of Andy's comment
And
that Friday is
you do it
Metamucil
also
Day.
because it makes me laugh out of nowhere. It has nothing to do with the show.
Oh, well, we'll that one we will take that under advisement in case anybody gets backed up. But
exactly.
believe
Like
me,
Visit Lauderdale.
yeah, visit Lauderdale. There's a thrilling nightlife scene here too. All the great the craft brewery scene down here is tremendous.
really
I mean,
cool.
it's kind of
Really
started
good.
with the Funky Buddha, and
Yeah,
now you got places like Lauder Ale and Three Sons, our
Craft
friends in
brewery, yeah,
Dania.
that's craft brewery.
Yeah.
We're
The monks.
Invasive
That's great.
Species, the Barrel of Monks. There's all kinds of great stuff. So
How about that 23? What is it? 26 degree place? Have you
26
seen that
degrees.
on
That's in
Atlantic?
Pompano, Atlantic. Yeah. So, you could check them all out. That's the Visit Lauderdale Ale Trail. There's also hidden speakeasies, rooftop bars, like rooftop WLO1. That's on top of that building that's owned by the restaurant people. All kinds of great stuff around. It's a never-ending culinary celebration in Greater Fort Lauderdale, and everyone's invited. For
Come
more
on.
information about the latest events and happenings, go to visitlauderdale.com.
All right, sounds good. What were you going to say, Lubie? You had, you're just cheering them on.
I'm
All right,
cheering
very
on
good.
Visit Lauderdale.
Getting me through.
All the exciting things we have
You
here.
mentioned a boat parade. I'm trying to figure out what is Tommy T going to charge me for, like, one of those lasagnas for 10 people.
No,
What do you think?
did you see he posted kind of his catering menu for the holidays?
How far in advance do we have to put this
And how
order?
far do you have to order
you
out?
think?
Well, if you just tell him a week or so in advance, but if it's for the boat parade, you could tell him now because you know the date. And he has a menu package that Dick's team put together for the party you weren't invited to, but I think it was $600.
That's another grudge I'm going to
Why
carry
do you
on
have
my
to bring it
grave.
up? It really frustrates me.
I love
It was-
Dick Steen. What a great guy,
It's
man.
Talk
He's
about
a-
not
He's
holding
a
Fred
brilliant-
was insane.
grudges.
Because
I'm not
Fred was
holding grudge
ridiculous.
over. Oh, go ahead. But Tom T put together a wonderful menu, served 12 people easily. It was $50 a head, $600, and it had
That's it?
all kinds of good stuff. Yeah, so go. Yeah, you could check that out.
I don't know if I want to invest 6 sticks in these people.
Oh, and that goes back to thanking my friend. No, my buddy Sean. To get back to the original question that I never really tied
that'll
up.
be a little pricey. By the
No,
time
he
it
had
gets
12
out.
people. He ordered, I think, 2 bottles of this premium rum. He had platters and platters of lamb chops and wings and
Wow.
rice, and I think the whole thing came out to about 500 with the
That's
tip.
it?
So for 12
That's
people,
the
again,
whole party,
because it's
though.
one of
The whole
these places
That's
that
great.
it's like great value, and like everybody got to take home some leftovers. I brought home some lamb chops and wings for my mom for lunch today with some rice.
Did
and,
they get to your mother, or did you eat them in the car on the way home?
no, they're in the fridge.
Okay,
She's
all
gonna
right.
have them today, and so thanks to Poker Sean, congrats to him for his victory, and thanks to the people at Tropic Sports Lounge in Pembroke Pines for just a wonderful feast, and it was good and it was reasonable, and these places are all over Broward County, Greater Fort Lauderdale. Go check it out. Yeah, that's it. Let's do a double break, Lubie, and we'll come back and talk about this breakfast sandwich and
That
what I
doesn't
should
look
put on
very
it.
appetizing.
Well, no, it's not.
Well, we
supposed to
can't
be
really
good.
see it. I mean,
No,
what
It
is
probably
it?
was. Unlike
No,
it's
look
like
at the
3 hours
picture.
ago, we
I
got the-
posted. Yeah, I posted it on Let's Eat earlier today. Very appetizing, great sandwich. We'll talk about it after.
What'd you do? Did you throw it at your dog or something? I mean, what happened to it? It looks awful. It really does. All right, coming back, find out what that
One of
mystery
our
meat
sponsors.
is.
Thank
that
you very
Mayo
much.
is.
Thank
Oh
you.
no, I'm
Yes,
sure it's great then.
Great job.
I thought you made it.
I'm
All right, back in a moment.
People come to me and say, Mike, where should I go out to eat? I got guests coming from out of town. Where should we go? Cafe Seville. That's the answer. 2768 East Oakland Park Boulevard. It's a Fort Lauderdale perennial, serving the finest in Spanish and continental cuisine in a cozy, friendly, comfortable setting. Joey Esposito and Sally, his better half, they've been running the place for a long time. It's been open since the 1980s. They got great Spanish classics like paella, shrimp with garlic sauce, and all kinds of great seafood dishes. The stuffed veal chop, oh, that's my favorite. Go to Cafe Seville. It's open every day but Sunday at 5 p.m. for dinner. Tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent you. Do you like burgers? Do you like wings? Do you like late night food and sports on big screen TVs and cold beer and friendly vibe and great people? Then you want to check out Shenanigans. For 30 years, they've been doing a great job. The original location, West Side, 3303 Sheridan Street, just across from TY Park in Hollywood. And there's the East Side location, 1300 South Federal Highway in Dania Beach. You go to Shenanigans, you get yourself all the good stuff, the fresh fish every day, the blackened grilled wings, and of course, the kitchens are open late in both locations. Go there, tell them that the Lunchbox Mayo and Defo sent. Looking for a great place for steaks, seafood, and more? Go to Tropical Acres Steakhouse and Butcher Shop. It's at 2500 Griffin Road in Dania, just west of I-95 and the airport. They've been there a long time, since 1949. That means they're doing something right. You'll get old school hospitality from the Studiali family, along with great value, tremendous service. Of course, you could also go into the bar for happy hour every day, 4 to 6. The early bird special runs from 4:30 to 5:30, and they have great value all night long. Also, a butcher shop that's open every day from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. except Sunday. The dining room is open every day at 4:30 except Sunday. Go to Tropical Acres. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. Hey, it's Mike Mayo. When the Brooklyn boy in me wants a good bagel with Nova or some matzo ball soup, homemade knishes, or a great deli pastrami sandwich on rye, you know where I go? Grandpa's Cafe in Dania Beach. It's been around a long time, an institution, but a little over a year ago, a pair of New Yorkers came in, bought it, and refurbished the place. It's beautiful, and they are now serving great breakfast, brunch, lunch. They've got the omelets, they've got eggs Benedict, they've got all kinds of great baked goods like rugelach. Grandpa's is just off Federal Highway on Southwest 1st Street in Dania Beach. It's open 7 days. Go in there, tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. When I'm looking for some wicked good food for a wicked good lunch, there's only one place to go. That's Wicked Cheesesteaks in Fort Lauderdale. It's at 4824 North Federal Highway, just south of Commercial Boulevard and across from Holy Cross Hospital. My friend Brian there, he will hook you up with some really tasty treats. They've got cheesesteaks, just like the best you can find in Philly, along with lobster rolls, because that's where he's from, Maine originally, and they have wings and pizza and everything you want to have a really good time. Wicked Cheesesteaks, they're open every day but Tuesday. Go in there on a Wednesday. They got buy one, get one on cheesesteaks from 5 to 8 p.m. Check them out online, wickedcheesesteaks.com. Tell them the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back on the Lunchbox, pre-storm, post-election edition. Again, Nicole, the latest updates are that it might be hitting close to West Palm Beach. I don't want to wish ill anyone, but I don't know about Mar-a-Lago. I hope they have their storm shutters up. But, the storm definitely had taken that southward slide because it's moved 100. The center's moved 100 yards, 100, I'm thinking dolphins, 100 miles further south than yesterday. I hate to get all Tex Antoine on you again. But again, now it's basically parallel with Delray Beach. So Dickstein and folks up there, best of Delray Beach, better also pay attention. And it is supposed to make more of a northwestern turn in the next 12 to 15 hours. And it is supposed to make landfall sometime in the middle of the night tomorrow, Wednesday, early morning Thursday. Again, barely might be a category 1, but everybody should be prepared because there could be widespread power losses given FPL's track record. So
stuff happens. I mean, 75-mile-per-hour winds, nothing to just shrug your shoulders at.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff can happen.
I would say starting tonight at about 7 p.m., weather is going to get pretty rough, and there'll be some squalls here in Broward County.
I'm going to be out tonight at your favorite place. Yeah, the Hard Rock.
Are you serious?
You know what? I'd be the first to be inclined to blow this off, but Mustang copped freebie Adam Sandler tickets.
Really? Oh, interesting.
Adam Sandler. I think he might have played there. Did he do a couple of nights there?
Last night, Roy, our buddy Roy.
I guess the show is going to go on, but I would be careful. And tonight they have a good poker tournament there, and I usually do play sometimes on Wednesday nights.
Well, come on out there and risk your life. Just like
no, the thing is, I am not going to leave my mom alone tonight because the winds. It could get, even though it's not supposed to be as bad here in Broward.
You want an Adam Sandler story? Just a quick one. Okay. For maybe like a week or so, I dated his mother-in-law. And there were a couple of restaurants that I don't know if you remember the names of these. They were right behind like Max's Grill at Meisner Park, and they had a ladies' night like every Wednesday, both of them. And there was like kind of an alleyway, and these restaurants were both very good. One was well respected, and I forget the name of either of them, but and they may not exist anymore.
Yeah.
But used to go there every Wednesday for the ladies' night, and I'm making the acquaintance of a young lady at the bar. And, it turns out later on, she tells me that her daughter is married to Adam Sandler.
That's funny.
So I took her out a few more times. Actually, I think I did one of my numbers at the Cafe Max, trying to imply that I had some class. And
and cash.
I was just hoping to maybe get an Adam Sandler movie because I know he puts all of his friends in the movies.
Yeah.
But it didn't work out. I mean, she was on to my game, and I never met Sandler. So tonight I'll be booing him every joke that he tells. No.
The only movie I would get in is Unhappy Gilmore.
Exactly.
They gave him a lot of credit for supposedly, depicting this degenerate gambler. I didn't think that movie. What was that? King of Queens or something?
No, it was a show.
Queen of Diamonds or something like that.
Uncut Gems.
Uncut Gems.
I love the movie. I thought it was great.
I thought it was. I thought it was a little ridiculous. Yeah.
Of course. There you go. Yeah. We have differences of opinions here, and which brings me now to let me find.
You probably put Pauly Shore up for like an Oscar in some of his flicks. No, all right. What do you want to get into? What about this sandwich?
I'm not going to dignify that with a comment. This is my sandwich.
Where'd you go? Grandpa's again?
Yeah. Was his grandpa's?
That's a good
See,
picture.
that's a
Okay.
nice sandwich.
That does it
I don't
justice.
know whatever you did to
Are
it.
those hash browns in the background or
Yes,
corned
sir.
beef hash?
They have the
Breakfast
most
sandwich.
perfect hash browns there.
Those look
At
great.
my daughter off school today and tomorrow. That's they canceled the classes, and so me and her had a little bit of a late breakfast, and they have these great breakfast sandwiches. She got one on the bagel with the egg and the sausage and cheese, and
That's
with
I
what
the
like
want
when
to
that guy
try.
had the omelet on a bagel.
Yeah, he
He had
had
an
the
entire
omelet.
omelet. That was
the
great.
boho or something like that. This one she got the soho or whatever. It's like a sausage and egg. But this one I got it caught my eye. It was basically a pastrami and eggs with Swiss cheese on toasted rye bread.
No
And let me
liver?
tell you something.
No liverwurst?
No liver.
No? All right.
But this beautiful sandwich here, it came kind of just unadorned, and I'm thinking to myself, does it need a condiment, or do you just eat this plain? What
I
would
think
you do?
plain. I go plain on that.
Yeah, I said Thousand Island, but I could see plain.
Yeah.
I mean,
I
pastrami has-
started off by eating plain, and let me tell you, it's pretty darn good because the cheese it has
Yeah.
everything it needed. But I just squirted a little bit of the spicy brown mustard on the side, and
Ooh.
there they use the Carnegie Deli brand mustard, which is actually a little bit stronger and spicier than Gulden's, but it's a brown deli mustard. And I dunked the sandwich in a couple of drops, a couple of times. Let me tell you, the mustard was a winner. It was good. It was good with them.
Well, what's happening with Hebrew National? You bring up mustard. Are their products not featured as prominently as they used to be in stores? What's going on with Hebrew National? That's
So
still
Hebrew
on, right?
National is now owned by a major conglomerate, ConAgra, which is actually owned by a Chinese consortium.
No good anymore. What's up on that?
No,
Hebrew
they're
National?
still, it's still sanctioned by a higher authority.
They made
It's
a good
still
mustard.
kosher.
They really did, and all of their products. Their salami
their
was
hot dogs.
spot
Their hot
on.
dogs
No?
are
I have never even heard of, or I don't think used the Hebrew National mustard, but
Good
you know,
mustard.
Yeah,
it,
same thing
it's
with Golden's.
still
It's like Golden's.
they still make a good and sell a lot of their hot dogs
I love their hot
and the salami, and the Hebrew
Okay.
National salami is featured for the salami sandwiches at Grandpa's now. So
Very
any
good.
event, it
Yeah.
seemed like the general consensus on the group was that the sandwich should either be eaten untouched, which is the way I started. A lot of people said the brown deli mustard, which I tried, and
What's
some
on it
people.
again? Pastrami. What else is on there?
It's
It's a
like a
pastrami and
Ruby.
egg sandwich. It's basically pastrami and
okay.
eggs on a
No,
toasted
that
rye.
should be just eaten as is. I
You
don't
know,
think you don't
especially
put
with
mustard on it.
the grilled
there I go.
rye. It doesn't probably need anything.
Yeah.
It have a strong
No,
enough
it's
flavor.
good.
Where,
The
No,
grilled
but
rye
again,
bread should do it for you, Mike.
yeah,
Mayo.
it
I'm
gives you a
dunking
nice crunch.
I'm dunking the pastrami in the mustard again.
All right. You
And
could have just
now
dipped
I'm
your
eating.
finger in the mustard at that point.
And
All you're getting is mustard.
it wouldn't be a lunchbox without me. eating it,
Without
so
you making a
Slob.
slob of yourself.
Yeah,
No, it's
exactly.
great. Okay.
There we go.
That's good. The people love it, though, by the way. I guess, the shows
They
where you
do.
eat do like twice the
You're
numbers
way
where
better.
when
It's
you
true.
don't
When
eat.
you eat like a slob,
When you start talking politics and sports and all of that, everybody tunes right out. But when you shovel food in your face, they love you. And there's a lovable quality about you, Mike Mayo. I want to make that statement here clear to the public because we argue about everything. But I'm just putting you on for the most part because I'd like to see you get irritated.
No, I know it's show business.
Yeah.
A lot of people, some people said the Thousand Island dressing, Russian dressing.
What are you talking about?
And a couple of people
Who
said
said
hot
that?
I threw
Wait,
it
wait.
out there just because I couldn't think of
You
any.
threw it out there.
sandwich.
I don't have the post out there, but somebody else said it.
You zoom out when you
And then a
talk
couple people said,
Judy says she tunes out when we talk sports.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
you
So do
can't-
we.
again, it's like restaurateurs. You can't please all the people all the time. I just got to go with what
we were just
do,
talking.
and-
Right. Exactly. It's the lunchbox.
But some people said hot sauce, and I did not put any hot sauce on this. I know a lot of people like hot sauce on eggs. I actually put the hot sauce on the hash browns, and that was delicious.
See, I wouldn't have touched the hash browns either.
about ketchup?
I think as is,
I always do
Grandpa's
ketchup and hash browns.
trust them to do the job. They don't need any, extra accentuation.
Yep.
I would have gone straight up on the sandwich and the hash browns. Straight up.
Hey, it's time to talk about our friends at Tropical Acres. I can't believe
Yes.
how the time flies when we're talking about news, sports, and weather,
Yeah.
and food.
Together.
But talk about good food. You've got. Did you see that post?
Yes, I talked about it this morning with Ed
I saw this
Garcia.
morning. I thought it was funny that they bring up
who-
the two that are totally different restaurants.
Ed Garcia is a
was it?
friend of ours. He's a regional
Yeah.
manager for the southeast region of Texas Roadhouse
Roadhouse.
Restaurants.
Texas Roadhouse
Covers a
It
lot
was-
of ground, and I told him about it. And it's not really a true comparison You know, because
It's
Tropical
a
Acres
restaurant.
stands alone, and you
Different.
know, Texas Roadhouse
This is
obviously has
I
many locations, but
and we
it
we
was good.
love both.
Very favorable review. I
both
mean, of
great.
Texas
No, but it
Roadhouse
was
for sure.
funny because somebody on the group poised it in a kind of like one of these head-to-head
Yeah,
matches of
it's not
where
really
should
a
I
fair
go?
comparison. Yeah,
No,
There's just
and I don't know if
difference.
he was just saying, okay, I'm going to go out for a steak dinner. Where should I go? And
yeah.
I would say, uh,
Depends.
go both. You know, just save your
Honestly.
pennies.
Roadhouse
Or hit,
holds up extremely well on Let's Eat South Florida.
no
I'm very
doubt.
happy about that because we
And
represent them on our
Tropical
other show. Yeah,
Acres is look, you know, it's a favorite of mine. It's
great,
a favorite of
unbelievable.
yours. It's a polarizing place. It's not for everyone, but
What
it is
it
for
still
me.
doesn't make sense to me that it's polarizing.
It doesn't make any sense to me, but
Makes
you know
zero
what?
sense. There's
Defo,
nothing
I've
polarizing
given up
about it.
on figuring out the American public, the American electorate, and the American dining palate. So, you know,
People don't like it
everybody,
because other people do like it. I mean, obviously, the majority of people
I
must
mean, it's
love
old
this joint.
school, but who cares?
Yeah,
They do a great
or it
job.
wouldn't have been around
So good
70
prices.
years.
we love it because you go in there and you get the best value, the best hospitality, service, and great food. I mean, Tropical Acres is my place when I want to celebrate. When I just want to go get a quick bite to eat at the bar,
Happy
you could go in there for happy hour, that 4:30 to 6:30 every day at the half price drinks, including their premium cocktails like a Belvedere Martini for $7. That's
hour.
unheard of these days.
It
Yeah,
is.
And you get these like sliders for $6, the
You get
coconut
an
shrimp
Aqua
6
Velva
and 7.
martini for $7 is unheard of. I mean, even if
Yeah,
they
well,
strained
that
it through bread.
I wouldn't recommend that. Tropical Acres, they're open every day but Sunday. They also have a butcher shop that's open from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Saturday, where you could bring all their fine products home, cook for yourself, or better yet, go into the dining room when it opens at 4:30 Monday through Saturday for the early bird special, the first hour. Of course, they have the twin lobster special for $35,
That's
served with
still going.
salad and
Yeah.
so it's going for another week. I think he's
Oh
going to
yeah.
run it
Okay. Cool.
until Thanksgiving. And then the prime rib and the filet mignon, those are my favorites. Also rack of lamb and other cuts of beef. Everything there is served with a salad inside, so it is the good value. And Jack Studiali and his sons, Joe and Jackson, they'll take great care of you. Go to Tropical Acres. It's at 2500 Griffin Road, just west of the airport in 95 in Dania Beach, and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you.
And you know, I mean, the other thing about it, you're talking about going out to dinner. It's a dining experience. I mean,
Yes, yes,
they
that's
often
the
put that
thing.
together, and it really is an experience there at Tropical Acres.
Yeah.
I love it. I think it's a great joint. I don't
Well, yeah, we
understand why anybody would be, you know, adamant about every time somebody posts something about it, somebody, some agent provocateur has to get on there and say, "Oh no, it's terrible."
look, put it this
It doesn't
way.
make sense.
When you Mayo referenced this the other day as someone who was going to we went this last weekend. Shirley had a business dinner at the place, Prime 112. They're
Right.
not a sponsor. So
Oh
I don't
wow.
think I've seen this. And even if they were, I'm telling you right now, if I never go back again, I'll be giddy because we had a reservation for 9 o'clock. Reservation, and the whole Seinfeld routine came through my head with the rental car. We had a reservation. Every time you have a reservation, yeah, you wait 5 minutes. We didn't get seated till 9:50. The reservation was for 9.
Oh, was
We
like
got
Tim
seated
Hardaway there
almost
or something? LeBron.
exactly 10 o'clock. Place was packed. It was a Friday night, but it was packed. Nowhere to sit. You get the food, and it was fine, but it wasn't like, like to me, I would much rather been at a tropical. I would say that to Shirley. I'm like, Tropical Acres. We would have sat. We could have done the happy hour. We could have then had a meal, enjoyed it, and then left in the Hazarai that went on at that place.
Yeah, look, there's trendy Miami places, and that has its place for people that want that. But when it comes to if you just want to get treated like a human being and not abused, I think Tropical Acres is a
Great
fine
spot.
choice. So,
Great spot.
do we have one more break? I've lost total
We
track
do.
of time
One more
and place.
Pop
break.
some messages in here because
Okay.
I did want to mention I was very tempted. You know, certain things they call your name like in your head subliminally, and you're hearing a voice saying. And this was Tuesday. I was going to opt for that 17.95, I think it is, lobster roll at Wicked Cheesesteaks.
Oh, nice.
That's a hell of a deal, man.
That's
For all
nice.
the people that mention lobster rolls, but to get it for under $18,
Yep.
quality that they have there. So yeah, that was calling my name earlier this week. So want to alert people
Try
to
them.
places like that here on the Lunchbox.
You like pizza? Who doesn't like pizza? Well, my spot for pizza is the Pizza Spot. It's in that little bit hard to find Riverside Park neighborhood of Fort Lauderdale, but it's totally easy to love It's at 601 Southwest 12th Avenue, New Haven style. A pizza from Wade and Reese. It's a lovely outdoor spot. You could also pick up pies to go at 754-779-7788. 754-779-7788. Again, they're open every day but Monday for lunch and dinner. Some of the best pizza I've ever had. Go to Pizza Spot. They also have subs, salads, and more. Tell them the Gambling Gourmet sent you. If you like seafood in a comfortable setting, outdoors, Even Keel Fish Shack at the corner of A1A and Commercial Boulevard in Lauderdale by the Sea, that's my spot. It's upscale food in a down-home setting. The chef owners, Dave and Brad, do a terrific job with all the seafood classics that you want. They have the best grilled oysters in town, bang bang shrimp, lobster rolls, and deli fish specials. They also have weekend brunch Saturday and Sunday. They have deli happy hour 4 to 7, and they also have other weekly specials like mussels on Monday and oysters on Tuesday. Go to Even Keel Fish Shack and tell them that the Lunchbox sent you. And we're back to wrap up another edition of the Lunchbox. But before we go, I got to tell you about the Visit Lauderdale Food and Wine Festival. Our friends Phil and Kate, they're getting everything together for another stupendous food and wine festival. It's coming up in January all along Fort Lauderdale Beach there, and also some restaurants. They unveiled their the intimate dining series lineup. You go to vlfoodwine.com. That's VL, like Visit LauderdaleFoodWine.com. And when you go on there, you'll see the different events, including the cocktail bar fight, the Smithfield poolside barbecue battle that we're all going to be there. I'll be judging. That's on the Friday night, January 14th. And the grand tasting is going to be on Saturday, January 15th. It's going to be a great time. I'm sorry, it's Saturday, January 14th. Friday, January 13th. I'm a little mixed up on my dates. The key is
Friday the 13th.
Friday
Nice.
the 13th. No, it's going to be
There you
fun.
go.
I'm not
There you
superstitious. No
Nice. Fun.
triskaidekaphobia here. VLFoodWine.com. And then when you go on there and you buy tickets, if you use the promo code Lunchbox, that's Lunchbox, you'll get an additional 15%. That's 15% off tickets to the bar fight, the poolside barbecue battle, and the grand tasting. So
Nice.
go online, VLFoodWine.com. Buy your tickets now. It makes a great stocking stuffer for the holidays.
Yeah.
VLFoodWine.com. All right, guys.
That's it. Yeah.
Well,
Nice.
yeah, no, I think that's going to do it. What did we learn today, Defo? We learned that there is
The Bastilla pie is available
Yes.
here in South
Yes.
Florida. That's it.
Neil.
And well
Neil
worth
Bastilla.
checking out. For $6 as an appetizer, I think that's a bargain. I think people will love it.
Yeah, look good.
And we learned that, again, products, sandwiches, pizzas, whatever, look a lot better when you get them in person and take a picture and eat them right there at the store. I didn't even get into that today. I went to Pizza Spot for the first time in a couple of weeks.
I saw those pictures. They looked fantastic.
And we had a great, absolutely great lunch with my friend Scott and his daughter Erin and Wade. I told him about the whole pond pizza thing, and
Yeah.
he read the post. He got a kick out of it. I give him credit because he gets it. He knows.
Sure.
And I showed him that it was like
He has
300
nothing
comments.
to worry about because the
price-
stuff is great that he
prices-
puts out there.
Yeah. And he remembered the guy who made the call. We'll talk more about it tomorrow, but he got a good chuckle. I said, you should market it now. Home of the pond pizza.
Yeah. Want me to just pour some hot water on that, or you want to take it home as is? Exactly.
And in his defense, he said the guy who was ragging on it and made a highly critical post on the group, that he ordered the pizza but didn't come and arrive to pick it up until 20 minutes after it had already come out of the oven. So it was already sitting
On
out
top of that.
on top of the oven for 20 minutes with all those vegetables. So it was a soggy mess waiting to happen. And
I would put Wade's vegetable pizza up against any pizza with vegetables on it.
Yeah, I got
fantastic.
yesterday we had two pies. We had the tomato
Yeah.
pie like we had at Pepe's, and let
I
me
bet
tell you,
that
this
was
one
good too. That looked
great.
great. Yeah.
And then we got the mushroom and peppers pie. Wasn't overwhelmed with all the vegetables. It was perfect. It was a great pie. So anyway,
Good for you, Mike. Man.
job well done. And that's going to do it for today.
All right.
All right, guys. Stay dry, stay safe. If you're going to the Hard Rock tonight, make sure you.
Enjoy Adam
I would be happy to cancel out on Adam Sandler. I
They
mean,
might cancel. I would
They-
definitely check the Twitter to see if they might postpone.
Yeah,
it.
they
No,
might not.
they're not canceling anything. They want the people in there because they're hoping they get stuck there so they gamble their brains out all day. 'Cause I guess what will never lose power at the Hard Rock.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
they have generators. They
No,
have all the
the
generators.
ATM machines will
Exactly.
never lose power.
Exactly.
Slot machines, ATM machines.
They're
and,
going.
They're going.
But if
They
I
got
could
the
find
ch-
any reason to get out of it, I would. I mean, outside of the distinction of having briefly dated his mother-in-law, and that was on a pickup on a ladies' night, which probably should have had my suspicions about what the longevity prospects were for that relationship. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I would have no desire to go see Adam Sandler. He's supposed to have a phenomenal special guest, and we know he has a lot of friends and seems like a really good guy in general.
I'm gonna guess Chris Rock.
Can you imagine if the Rockster showed up?
I'd be sick if you saw Chris Rock. Chris Rock,
Yeah.
actor, and Chris Rock, the comedian, amazing.
Yeah,
I told you, I
they're
saw
buddies.
a young Chris Rock at the Riviera with my 8-year-old son, Jesse. He liked comedy shows. We were on a trip, and he wanted to go out west there. I'd just gotten divorced, and I promised him I would take him out to L.A. and the West Coast. And he loved comedy shows. We go to the Riviera, and the third guy down on the bill, not even the headliner, was a young Chris Rock. Nobody knew who he was.
Yeah,
And
it's great.
he slayed him that night, and he actually singled out my son. He still remembers that.
Yeah, because he's a
'Cause,
kid. He cursed a lot.
He couldn't believe it. He's looking around the room there, and he goes, "Holy," and it rhymes with duck, a kid. And I still remember Chris Rock saying it. But he went
So-
on to obviously great heights. So if he shows up, I mean, he's
Yeah,
as good as
well,
it gets.
If they say special guest, you do hope it's Chris Rock and not Rob Schneider. But
I was gonna
you never know
say
what you're gonna
one of
get.
the probably not Chris Rock.
Dan-
All right, Defo, have a
Yeah.
blast tonight. Everybody
All
stay
right.
See you
safe,
guys
stay
later.
dry. We'll see you again tomorrow on the Lunchbox. For Jeff Defo at the Forest, Mike Lubie, bespectacled Lubitz.
Doesn't he look
This
intelligent?
is-
He looks great.
I like
I won't have him
it.
tomorrow. So don't get used to it.
Back then we might call it the Poindexter look, but I
Exactly.
think it
I
makes
hate
him
it.
look a little bit intelligent. I mean, it
Thank
makes
you.
him look intelligent. I like it. He's
Wonderful.
going to go split an atom now, and I'm going to
Yes.
go eat the rest of my soggy sandwich. But remember to enjoy every sandwich.